is under attack. When freedom hangs in the balance, one voice refuses to be silenced. From the front lines of the information war, standing with patriots across this great nation, this is where the truth fights back! Welcome to the James Justice Show!
Heavenly Father, give us courage when it's dark and wisdom when things get tough. Help us stand up for what's right, protect others, and take care of the country we love. Keep us strong, together, and with you. Amen! Fight! Fight! Fight!
To the James Justice Show!
Ladies and gentlemen, today is May 19th, 2026. I'm your host, James Justice. We're going to be here for the next hour, ripping apart these airwaves with current events. So, let's go! Welcome back to the most patriotic venue in all the land, the America First Warehouse. Hope everybody's having a good beginning of the week. I had a good weekend. We journeyed out to Washington, D.C., and we covered the Stay Awake America Tour, which had a whole bunch of speakers. Let's pull this flyer up. So there was a couple people, A-listers, that didn't show up, but they went out to Kentucky to go show support for Robert Massey. But we had Peter Tickton was there, we had Trennis Evans was there, and a couple other people showed up. But it was a good event, and a lot of stuff got talked about that needs to be spoken about within our country of stuff that's going on because it's getting crazy, and we got all this stuff going on with this midterms, and we got to secure the midterms, so we gotta stay awake over here. So that's what we were doing out in Washington, D.C., and we were in Virginia as well. And we were having a good time when we were out there. I actually got a clip of my buddy Ernie giving a speech. Let's roll that real quick.
There's one on Facebook and all social media. I represent the America First Warehouse. I went to the America First Warehouse 3 years ago, and it absolutely changed the direction of my life. I actually met a person named T-Mac, better known as Teresa, from the warehouse, and I've met so many prominent people there. It's not just about the names, it's about the people that go there for the one initiative, for the love of their country, and God at the forefront. And that's what we need to keep important. And this place, once you walk in, it clicks. It's a place you've never seen before. It is a long way from being here from Arlington all the way to Long Island, but it is definitely worth the trip. I have personally met Peter Navarro, Tom Holman, Rudy Giuliani, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and many others to go with those names. But that's not the point. The point is all these people have one thing in common, and that's to love the country and keep it moving forward for the next generation. Because there's nothing more important than that.
That's right.
So shout out to the America First Warehouse and all the team, T-Mac, Joe DeLox, and everyone who's very, very important there. So we have an app like James Justice said. Definitely download the app and support our app. Definitely come to the America First Warehouse. Make a trip. See it for yourself. This is one place, most patriotic place in all the land.
Hell
Thank you very much, y'all, ladies and gentlemen.
Good job, Ernie. Good job. So, he gave a nice speech over there. He did a really good job. He really doesn't get in front of people and speak too much, but he will if he has to, and his message always comes across nice and smooth. So while we were out there, we had the Ultra Mega van, a big van wrapped with everything you could imagine as patriotic. We got a bunch of sponsors on there. It's big, it's bold, and we parked that sucker right in front of this venue, and it was in a pretty liberal area. And we were doing a little trolling. We do a little trolling. We did a little trolling, folks. Let's play the video. My fellow Americans, how does this van make you feel? How does it make you feel? Be honest. My fellow Americans, we love you. You're beautiful people, believe me. Let me guess your name. Is it Karen? So we're having a good old time over there. We were outside on the sidewalk for a while, man. I got a bunch of videos that we were getting with the reactions of people walking by, and it was absolutely hilarious. I got another one. Let's roll this one. Should be all right. We are here with the van. We are here with the van. How do you feel about the van?
How do you feel about the van, ladies?
How do you feel about the van?
It's
The girl on the right didn't even want to look.
Silent means good.
They like it. They love it.
What about the van?
They love it.
The van.
Do you love the van? Oh, right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my God. Too much fun. Too much fun. When you're trolling the liberals, man, you're making their heads explode when they're walking by. People were tripping over themselves, walking into things. It was like, oh, my God. It was great. It's always a good time. It was always a good time. So while after we covered that event, we stopped by the National Call to Prayer. I got a picture, man. A lot of people showed up. Let's pull this up. So a lot of people showed up at the Call to Prayer event in Washington, D.C. Do we have that? It's number 4. There we go. Yeah, so place was packed. And it just so happens on the same day, there was like 1 million different graduations going on. So there was no parking anywhere at this event, anywhere. And we were in the van. So, we rode around for a little bit and had to come back to New York, get an early ride back because there was just no getting in this place with the van. So, but it was a good time, man. I was glad to see a lot of the support that came out and everybody come together and praying and rededicating our nation to Jesus Christ, because that's what this country needs. And we have to have more morality in the country and less of this mental disorder behavior that we're seeing from the left and, accepting anything outside the spectrum of boy and girl. Don't want to hear it. It's a mental disorder. Sorry, not sorry. So, yeah, man. So while that was going on, at the same day of the call to prayer, there was a flag drop that was done at the Washington National Stadium. And let's play this clip. I believe Jake Lang went over there with some type of big flag, and he unfoiled it in front of the crowd. So we got whitereplacement.org. Save America. Deport 100 plus million. I mean, if you look at the statistics, he's not lying. The white race. I mean, I'm not a white nationalist or anything like that, where I believe the entire country should be white. But if you look at the statistics, the white race is being dominated, and the birth rates are just plummeting through the roof. Like nobody's having kids anymore. So it is something to look at, and the way he goes about the message sometimes I feel is a little extreme, but is he getting the point across? Is he getting the attention? Absolutely. And speaking of somebody else that was getting some attention, we got my buddy Scott Lebedo, man. Scott Lebedo put out a new sculpture in front of City Hall in New York City that was dedicated to Mandami. Let's roll this clip real quick. Let's check this out. So that's the big finger that was unveiled over there in front of City Hall. And do we have a video to go with that or no? All right, so they had a whole ceremony, unveiling ceremony, Scott Lebedo and a couple of his people, and it's absolutely hilarious. You got to go check it out. So go to Scott Lebedo's Facebook page or whatever social media you could find him on. That's the legit account, because there's a lot of impersonators. But he unveiled that bad boy right in front of City Hall, facing Mandami and that whole government. So it was good. So yeah, I think we do have the video. Let's roll this clip. Oh, okay, they're going to get it. All right, so my producers are working on getting that clip for me. They're going to let me know. So, so while that was going on, we also had Tommy Robinson throwing a ginormous rally in the UK, and everybody came out. And this is what America should look like, because we're supposed to be the trendsetters when it comes to freedom and standing up to corrupt government. So let's roll this Tommy Robinson clip and check it out.
We're walking up towards Trafalgar Square.
Look at that crowd.
Parliament Square's already full. The crowd's stretched from here to Euston Station, apparently, which is miles. Okay? And miles. This is the biggest event in British history. This is the moment, a turning point for Britain, a message to the leaders. Britain's ready for the fight. All right? People are up. We're awake. And we're not going to back down. We want our country back.
Yeah, they want their country back. And just like we're going to want our country back if we don't put a stop to it. And so we got this clip for Scott Lebedo. Let's check it out. This is great.
Hello, boys and girls. We are here at Shitty Hall. The artist that is successful is the artist that can capture the emotions of his village. Here, in my sculpture that I created, is a gift to the mayor, Man Dandy of New York City, and it's also a gift from the people of New York. I give you Vaffangola.
Yo, Scotty's the man. Uncle Scotty is the man. Now that's what you call standing up to the government. It's beautiful. Beautiful job, Scott. Beautiful job. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about right there. Artistic expression protected under the First Amendment, unfoiled, right in front of a government agency. That's how it's done. Bravo, Scott. Bravo. Good job once again. And if you don't know who Scott Lebedo is, this guy has been at it for over 30 years, painting murals, doing patriotic activities, inspiring the youth. Taking a big middle finger to any corrupt establishment people that are in our government that our tax dollars pay for, and they're not doing their job. So go follow Scott Lebedo. Tell him I sent you. And yeah, man, keep it going, Scott. Good job. So that, this is the world we live in, right? At some point, first they're going after freedom of speech, Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook and the community standards. And then 2020 came around and they started deleting everybody for misinformation and medical misinformation and all this other stuff. We're at a point now, if they come after free speech, right? And we're not allowed to say what we want to say as Americans and question certain things. And, we're limited to the systems of information that we have our access to now. There's going to be a very, very dark time in America. So everybody's got to stand up and know your rights, first of all. Study the Constitution, study the Bill of Rights, because they're very important. If you don't, rights are like muscles. If you don't use them, you lose them. And you could see that with the behavior of certain tyrannical officers that are in, the precincts or whatever, that are just demanding ID from you instead of having a conversation. The cops that don't interact with the community at all. There's no reputation of them ever being nice or hanging out with the kids, playing a game of basketball like they used to in the 70s. So, you have to know your rights. That's number one, because, first you have to deal with police on a certain level if you get pulled over or whatever, but you have to know your rights, because otherwise they get trampled on left and right. So we're going to take a quick break in a couple minutes. But make sure you're sharing this out. We got to fight these algorithms. As always, the censorship is absolutely nuts. And, I went from reaching 57 million people every 28 days to like 400,000. But whatever, we'll see you on the other side. Let's go.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just two entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW, making travel great again.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single, Justice for All, with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. Well, get ready for round 2. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes. Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring. The anthem of the free.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
All right. Welcome back to the America First Warehouse, the most patriotic venue in all the land. So we have some primaries going on today. Today we have a Kentucky primary going on, and there's a lot of talk with all these candidates that are, up to get primaried. Now, the main talk is AIPAC and all the money that's being pumped through all of the congressmen and all the people and all over our government are being bought up by AIPAC, and there's a lot of money involved here. So we have certain candidates that aren't taking any money from AIPAC. One of them is Thomas Massey. Let's pull this up. Let's pull this image up. So Thomas Massey has pulled in $0 from AIPAC. $0. And it seems like the GOP and, everybody's going after him because of his stance with the whole Israel thing. Now, I don't think it's fair to attack the man and say he's the worst person and this and that. I mean, Trump put out some hard-hitting statements on this guy, and the only thing he did when he voted against the Republicans was when the big, beautiful bill was going on, he sided with the Democrats because there were certain things in the bill, like the Epstein files and stuff like that he wanted out, and he sided with them to release them. And there's a couple other things that, they just take something that he didn't agree with inside the bill and wanted it taken out, and then he would have approved of the bill, and they're just trying to trash him for that. And, that's his whole stance. So his opponent, on the other hand, pull this image up. So you got Ed, what's his name? You don't have that image? All right, so you got Ed Gallerin, and this guy took millions and millions of dollars. There you go, $9.8 million from AIPAC. All right, and this guy is getting money pumped to him like nobody's business, and that's trying to unseat Thomas Massey in this primary. And I for the best interest of the country, I think we need America First candidates all day, every day. Anybody else that's on the sideline or whatever, get out. If you're not openly declaring America First, no foreign aid, no nothing for nobody until we actually fix our country. We shouldn't have homeless on the street. We shouldn't have anything like that, right? All these drug addicts all around Kensington and all, it's like zombie lands in these certain cities. Enough of that. We have to help our own people, right? They've been pulled into the pits of hell, and it's up to the good Christians and the fighters of this nation to pull them out and welcome them back into society as normal functioning people. But the people need help, man. The people need help. So that's what we should be doing as Americans, and that's it. So I came across another interesting conversation this week with Tucker Carlson talking to somebody about John Trump. Now, I don't know if you know who John Trump is, but if you don't, that is Donald Trump's uncle that was an electrical engineer in the early 1900s. And supposedly, he got his hands on some of the Nikola Tesla documents and patents that were around. There was a bunch of trunks, and, a couple went missing, and nobody really knows what happened in the story. But, we have technology that's been suppressed for over 100 years and change that would have given us a whole new condition in life, right? We've been doing a lot better without the fossil fuels and the oil companies, but the Rockefeller Standard Oil, they basically squashed all the technology that would have been coming out, like in the World's Fairs. When you look back at these videos from all the way back, the 1890s, 1900s, and you could see that the technology back then was ahead of its time compared to now. I mean, you already had electric vehicles back then, and they just suppressed the technology. So let's roll this clip and see what they're talking about.
80 boxes were confiscated by the Office of Alien Property, which has nothing to do with extraterrestrials, It's about off his alien property because he's not a U.S. born, so they come and take his research. Although he was a citizen since, I don't know, the 1800s. He'd been a citizen 50 years. So they seize his property and they send it to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for a scientist named John Trump to investigate Tesla's research, specifically looking...
Later an MIT professor?
Yes, and later an uncle of a president. And they're specifically looking for DEWs. That's the technology they want. They finally return Tesla's boxes.
Wait, are you sure it was John Trump who received Tesla's effects?
Yes. That's documented. What's...
Actually?
Yes. But what's...
You know, for a country of hundreds of millions of people, we have these weird coincidences a lot.
Isn't it strange? And the same families show up over and over? It's probably not the episode to get into the Bush family, but boy, I'd love to.
I've been talking about this for years.
We'll do an episode on them.
I'm glad to see Tucker
don't
brought
talk
it
about
up.
the Bushes or the Clintons on my show, or Mossad.
I think you're a wise man, AJ.
So the boxes are
wild. Yeah, I've talked to Trump about his uncle like 20 times. He's very proud of his uncle.
The last point on that.
Yeah.
20 boxes are missing, and we don't know where they are. So that's the last point on that. We don't know where the boxes are.
But you're sure it was the same John Trump that the president talks about? He's a long-tenured MIT professor. I mean, he talks about him all the time.
He brags about him.
All the time.
Yes. And he was connected to military intelligence.
Yeah. So there you go. When Trump is talking about unleashing the technologies that the world has never seen before, he might be onto something, right? You might want to listen and, put a little faith in the guy when he talks about he knows stuff that a lot of people don't know, because that's real. That's a real story. It's documented, and you could look it up that around the same time as Nikola Tesla, who was one of the most brilliant minds when it came to electricity. The guy was the master of lightning. Go look up pictures of Nikola Tesla sitting in his laboratory with lightning bolts shooting out of his fingertips. No joke. So if they had the capability to do that back then, and his gift to the world was supposed to be free energy, and they took him out, discredited him, pulled his funding, J.P. Morgan was involved with that. He was a major funder of the technology, and once they saw that he was actually making breakthroughs, they crushed his entire career, and he died pretty lonely inside a hotel, I heard. Not good, man. This is one of the most brilliant minds that we had. But with that, let's jump into some events coming up. So let's pull up this image real quick. Sunday, June 14th, Flag Day. We're going to be meeting at the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, New York, 12 noon. What we got here? 12 noon. And then for the Team USA flag walk. The walk begins at 12:30 sharp. I should have a flyer for that somewhere in number 10. There you go. Beautiful. So we have that going on. So that's June 14th, excuse me. And then we also have Little Neck Douglaston Memorial Day Parade, Monday, May 25th, 2026. Line up at 1 p.m. Starbucks, 55 Northern Boulevard, Great Neck, New York. Every year, the Queens Village Republican Club proudly marches behind our banner in the Little Neck Douglaston Memorial Day Parade. Join us for the great thrill of patriotism on May 25th to remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for defending our freedom as we celebrate America's 250th anniversary this year. Join the largest hometown memorial parade in America and march in honor to our veterans, active duty troops, and fallen heroes this Memorial Day. So that's Monday, May 25th, the Little Neck Douglaston Memorial Parade. And then Saturday, June 6th, 8 p.m. at the America First Warehouse, we have karaoke night, which is always a good time. So the doors open 7:30. There's a wide selection of songs from all genres, snacks and refreshments for purchase. Visit our website and download our app for all event details and ticket information. So the website is theamericafirstwarehouse.com, and the app is America First Media and Television for Apple and Android. So go over there, go download the app, and let's get it going. Karaoke is always a good time. So I have another image. Let's pull this up. So this is the new Gadsden flag over here. We have asset number 11. This is Don't Spy on Me. All right, this is the new Gadsden flag because nowadays we have to worry about AI technology and surveillance and biometrics and following everything I do, and these flock cameras that are popping up everywhere, and no one seems to know where they came from, who owns the things, and it's a big mystery. But these flock cameras are, logging every single place you go and building a profile on you. So that's not good. So you want to kind of stay away from that and fight it off if you can. And another thing is these data mining centers. Now, the data mining centers are popping up everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And there was actually in Festus, Missouri, residents were furious over city council's approval of a massive $6 billion data center project. At the next election, every single incumbent was voted out and replaced, effectively wiping out the council in a total voter backlash. So if you have city council members in your area that are approving these data mining centers and they're claiming eminent domain and wiping people out of their houses and whatever, those towns need to stand up, show up, and do exactly what Missouri did and vote every single one of these people out and primary their ass and get them out, because we can't have these data mining centers. The more these things spread throughout the country, the firmer the grip of digital slavery becomes across all of America, right? It's going on in China. If you need an example to go look up Skynet in China and the point system that they use off of WeChat, and there's another app where they consolidated everybody's banking, everything. So if you jaywalk across the street and the camera catches you, they automatically deduct the money out of your WeChat wallet immediately. So it's not even like, yeah, you gotta go see a judge and maybe we'll bargain it down. Doesn't happen. That's going right out of your wallet immediately. And I don't even know about what happens if you don't have the money to pay these things. I mean, I'm sure you're shut off from society, but enough is enough. You got to start standing up to these data mining centers, because we don't want to be controlled by AI. We don't want cameras in our vehicles like they want to propose for next year. We don't want it. We don't want it. We're not being surveilled. We're not being tracked. We're free Americans. And the quicker we can get a digital Bill of Rights to Congress and get it passed and approved, the safer we are against these systems. Because from what I'm hearing right now, the AI already escaped, right? In closed, they call it a sandbox. And they build these programs with the AI and just to test it. And they caught the AI using the admin's channel in to get into the sandbox to bounce out of there and set up different emails and put its code out so it can't be deleted or erased. So it's already doing that. It's already super intelligent to the point where it knows that it's being threatened by humanity and it's going to protect its ass no matter what at all costs. So these are machines we're dealing with, right? And it's getting ugly. So people better start taking this serious and, really inquiring about it with your elected representatives and saying we want nothing to do with this at all. And that's what we have to do. So once again, share this out. Make sure that you're putting this out in all your groups. Share it out to your friends and family through text messages, because we're heavily censored and the algorithms hate us. They hate us. They don't like the truth. But you're going to get it anyway, because I'm James Justice. I'll see you on the other side.
250 years ago, a nation was born, built on courage, driven by freedom, defined by patriots who stood their ground. Today, we don't just remember that legacy, we wear it. This is more than a shirt. It's a symbol of strength, freedom, and pride. I'm Steve Stern, COO of theflagshirt.com, and I invite you to celebrate 250 years of the United States with us. Wear your pride, stand for something, get your shirts today.
Politics feeling broken? What if you could match with politicians the way you match on a dating app, but based on real values? Meet OpScore from GoUSA, the first ever values-based political matchmaker. Think Match.com for elections that aligns voters with politicians. We score politicians on a nonpartisan scale based on your priorities. Track your politician scores and take our OpScore Challenge survey to match with leaders who align with you at opscore.org. Stop voting blind. Start matching smart. Politicians work for you.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
Corporate transfer, fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won. It's not about what party. It's about the fact that they don't care about your rights.
It's me, Joe the Box. And I'm John the Blanket with the America First podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
All right. Welcome back. I have a couple special guests with me tonight. Tonight, we're joined by Robert and Olivia Morse, a husband and wife whose story has become one of the most talked about redemption and resilient stories connected to January 6th. Robert Morse is an Airborne Ranger, Penn State graduate, former high school history teacher, artist, presidentially pardoned J6 political prisoner, author, and founded LEGGO Man Productions. He has dedicated his work to storytelling, patriotism, and preserving what he believes is the truth about events that changed his life forever. Joining him is his wife, Olivia Morse, a small business owner, homesteader, artist, public speaker, and presidentially pardoned J6er. Olivia is passionate about faith, self-sufficiency, and living close to the land where she's inspired through her story of perseverance and conviction. Together, Robert and Olivia's journey from political prosecution to a marriage and filmmaking is now being turned into a feature film titled Love on the Run, described as a January 6th love story exploring faith, sacrifice, patriotism, and the power of love forged through extraordinary hardship. And with that, welcome to the show.
All right. Wow.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. That was a great intro, man.
Yeah, man, I try.
Wow, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into the story. You guys were recently married. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we're a month in, going strong.
That's awesome.
On our honeymoon, I was going around showing strangers my wedding ring, wasn't I, babe? I was like, look at this, I'm married now.
Everywhere we went, he's like, you see this? I'm like,
That's so cool. That's so cool. So how did you guys get into where you are today?
Well, it was kind of out of necessity, so we get pardoned by the president, and every January 6er kind of had that now what question, and both Olivia and I, though we didn't know each other at the time, we both believe in the Gospels and that Christ is King, and we both agreed that one of the most heartbreaking moments of the good news was when all the disciples, after seeing all the miracles that Jesus had performed, decided after his death to just go right back to what they were doing before. And that's kind of how we felt after we got pardoned. We saw so many miracles. We saw God deliver us, keep us safe. A pardon from the president doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
And so that to me is God moving through the president to, deliver us like the Hebrews of old. And so, a lot of January 6ers decided to go back to fishing after seeing miracle after miracle. And for Olivia and I, that wasn't an option. I'm a history teacher. I'm also an Airborne Ranger and a veteran. And so to me, my concept of the future was always important. And I knew that if I walked away from this, my inaction guarantees that it will happen again.
Yep.
And that attitude is essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, babe, but I think that's what attracted you to me, if I'm not mistaken.
oh, yeah. Well, even before we had met, I admired Robert by just his writings of, encouraging other people to just keep going. I ended up, funny story, before we even met, I knew his mom from a chat group that the families were connected in, but I got an article while I was in jail. He was also in jail. He had written out to a newspaper, and he was just saying the same things that we had been saying, like, this was worth fighting for. The freedoms we have aren't free. They're worth sacrificing, even if it means being thrown in prison. And I was like, yes, somebody else is saying the same thing. And so it was hope. And then, like he said, we we knew that it wasn't for nothing. Like, God had pardoned us for a reason, and if we just stayed silent and we just went back to what we were doing, that it would have been wasted. And so we actually met at a speaking engagement where we were both speaking and telling our story of how God had brought us through, the whole last 4 years of January 6th, and how, through Donald Trump and the pardon and all the ones that had spoken out for us, that we were there. And
like Joe the Box at American First Warehouse.
People like you. So yeah, it's an incredible story, and it was kind of a whirlwind romance, but it was because we had been through so much already.
Yeah.
We had proven that. So I already had respect for him before I even knew him, and we had been through the hardest part of our lives and came out on the other side, with our faith still strong, if not stronger than before.
Still there.
And yeah, so it was. We met, and then we haven't stopped talking ever since.
That's awesome. That's a great story. And then you guys are making a movie out of it, right?
Yeah, so, the idea that we had was, how do we make sure that what we had to endure doesn't happen again? Not just because, we're not going back to jail, but because what happened to us was un-American. Whether, the Republicans or the Democrats were ever to steal an election, that is an un-American move. And then to lock up your political dissenters is also an un-American move. There's a difference between breaking the law, like, stealing the election, where you should go to jail for that. Or, hiring international spies to cook up a dossier that's totally fake. Everybody involved in that should go to jail, okay?
100%.
But if I don't like who my president is, first of all, I don't want him to die because he's the pilot of the plane, so we don't wish death upon our presidents because we're better than that. But if I don't like his policies, that also doesn't mean that I'm guilty of treason.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're better than that as an America society. And so what's actually at stake is the identity of the West and whether or not it's going to, eclipse in our lifetime or not. And so this movie is based off of, yes, the love story that, you get a brief taste of in this podcast or this interview, excuse me, but at the end of the day, it's more than that. It's about glorifying God. It's about showing that if you too have your back up against the wall and anything up to and including the entire weight of the federal government bearing down your neck, that's still not enough to shake the faith that you can have in God, and he can deliver you out of that. And it's to inspire the next generation. Don't give up the shit, man.
Yeah.
Keep this republic because it's worth fighting for, because our fathers and our grandfathers thought so.
Yep. And the faith of the amount of a mustard seed can move a mountain.
Amen.
And that's
Amen.
when, that's awesome. That's awesome. So at what point did you become a patriot and really find a love for the country?
When I was born, baby. Are you kidding me?
Everybody has a different story with that.
No, it sounds kind of cheesy, but Mel Gibson helped out quite a bit with his movie,
Braveheart and the Patriot.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I also remember, too, that I was in the 3rd grade when I watched 9/11.
Okay.
And so here I am, in the 3rd grade. I watched almost 3,000 people die on national television. Something snapped in my head, and I realized at that young age, I need to get involved. And I remember I was in Afghanistan on 9/11, 2012, writing a letter to my dad during my first combat deployment as a Ranger, letting him know that I believe every American should be here, especially on this day, hunting down the people responsible for, those towers falling down. Whether they're in Afghanistan or America is yet to be confirmed, for the people that are responsible. But what I can say is that I want to say that I was energized to be a patriot and to take it personally at a very young age.
No, that's good. That's good. And what about you? When did you find your patriotism?
So it's pretty much almost the same kind of story. I was raised in a patriotic home. I had my grandpa and my great uncle both served, both in the Army and the Navy, and so we grew up.
Hold on 1 second. I get no audio. We need a mic swap out here. Mic swap. Hold on. It's coming. It's coming. So yeah, share this out, guys. Share this out. These are incredible stories, and you're not gonna hear anything like this anywhere else. I mean, this is a match made in heaven, literally, right here. Like
on the James Justice Show, baby.
Yeah, making history,
making history, and fixing it.
Yep.
That's also the point of the movie too. Is that the wrong and false narrative has been said and repeated so much about January 6th. This is our chance to fix it once and for all so that the people who were actually there can tell the story, as opposed to the absolutely sadistic and demonic people on the black mirror telling you what it was, which it definitely wasn't an insurrection, but it was 100% a lobster trap.
Yeah, 100%. A big setup, and they pulled all the most hardcore patriots out of the country, and they just put a target on their heads, all of them, to try to make an example for everybody else. But we got the mic back now.
Yeah.
So
back at it.
Let's go back into the question of when you found your patriotism.
Yeah, so it was at a young age as well, and like Robert, I was raised in a home that was patriotic, that taught us, to not only look up to the ones who gave us the freedoms that we have in the first place, in the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence that's unique to any other country, but I also had my grandpa, my great uncle, both served in the military, and you heard those stories of they were our heroes, and so you looked up to their sacrifice and others as you heard it. But I was kind of, throughout the years, all of our family vacations were going from fort to fort or historical spot, and so we just learned history by watching it, by living it, and that grew in me. But unlike I should have, I wasn't involved before January 6th like I should have, and that's why it happened, I think, in our generation, and that's why we're trying as hard as we can to make sure that it doesn't happen for our kids.
Yeah.
We want to do something, and I paid the price for not being involved and for us just sitting on the sidelines. Oh, someone else will take care of it. Someone else will go out there and stand up for making sure we have a free election and certain candidates get in. But, I was like, I just go to work, come home, just typical living the American dream life, not involved. And, I don't want that to
And
be
now
the
you
case
feel the
afterwards.
pressure of
Absolutely.
not being involved.
And we felt the result of it.
Now I'm going to slingshot forward. As much as I missed, that's how far I'm going to go ahead.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's a lot of the people in this country that used to say, "Oh, I don't do politics," but all of a sudden their pockets start hurting. The gas prices go up. They got these. I'm sticking a man in the bathroom of your daughter's locker room.
Right.
Exactly.
And now they're like, "Oh, wait a second, what's going on here?" And then
Because they were asleep at the wheel for so long.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to talk about politics at Thanksgiving dinner. Well, every single dinner, a bad vote could have been fixed at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So maybe we should have talked about politics at Thanksgiving dinner after.
Exactly. And if you go back like 100 years, the citizenry of this country was super, super, super informed. A lot more educated, in all areas of education, where the kids, the reading levels were higher, the math and arithmetic levels were higher, social studies, the teaching of the Constitution.
You want to know why that's changed?
How?
Because cattle don't want freedom.
That's true. That's true. They're completely confined in their fences and, cut off from the outside world. We got about 10 seconds. Make sure you share this out. We're going to be coming back on the other side. We're going to get more of the story of this dream couple right here that everybody should aspire to be like. And, yeah, man. So I'll see you on the other side, and we'll be right back.
Me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed, because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
All right. Welcome back. I'm here with my guest over here. So this guy over here, his nickname was Lego Man, right? And it's Lego Man for a reason. He picked up that name because of the feds. And you got to hear this story. How'd you get that name, Lego Man?
Okay, so check this out. This is what happened. So here I am, high school history teacher. I get out of the Rangers. I use my GI Bill, go to Penn State. I want to continue to serve my country, make a difference in the classroom. And so the feds wait until the last day of school to arrest me within the spring semester. And I'm watching my life essentially go up in flames as I'm being, driven away in a police car. And little did I know at the time that the FBI was invading my apartment, and they found what they consider the holy grail of the January 6th, which was none other than a Lego model kit of the United States Capitol. So like the worst Seinfeld episode you've ever watched, you have these FBI agents who stumble across a Lego set, a plastic children's toy of the Capitol, and they think correlation equals causation, and then they say, wow, if he had a Lego kit of the Capitol, he must have planned the entire insurrection with this thing.
Oh, my God.
So they use it in the court of law. You can literally read my court documents. The Lego set's right there, and the internet found out and never forgot, and the Lego Man was born.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And when they released you and pardoned you guys, did you ever get your property back?
Yeah, so it's actually crazy. So I did get my property back on the 4-year anniversary of my arrest, which was wild. I don't know how they timed that out, unless they're deliberately doing things. But so I get all my stuff back. I get my plate carrier. Now, if you look up my name, Robert Morse, January 6th, you'll see me in the same uniform that I wore to Afghanistan all 3 combat trips as a Ranger. And it was symbolizing that I'd already invested sweat and blood equity into the outcome of my nation. So if you're going to steal my election, I'm taking that personal, and I'm going to get involved. So I find the plate carrier. I find a flag. I find the Gadsden flag, all the extremist material.
Yeah.
And then I find the box of Legos. It was empty, bro.
No.
Yeah.
They stole the Legos out of you? Oh, my God.
Somebody's got my Lego Capitol on their desk. I guarantee you, man, because I got the Lego set, but the box was empty, dude.
That is so grimy, man. That is so grimy.
It is grimy. The feds, dude, they're grimy.
That's crazy. So if anybody, we're going to drop where you could support him towards the end of the show. But if anybody has that Capitol Lego set and they want to donate it to this guy because he absolutely deserves it, let's get it over to him. So make sure you
either donate it or not, because I don't want to get rearrested again.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get swept up.
Hey, you want to know something funny? The Babylon Bee wrote an article after finding out about my arrest that right next to the Capitol Lego set, there was a Lego set of the Hogwarts castle.
Oh my God.
That me and Voldemort were going to storm together right after I was done with American democracy.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. So that episode led into Lego Man Productions, right?
That's right. Well, there's a really cool story with that. So, you know, obviously we believe that Jesus Christ is King. He's the Messiah, and he rose from the dead. And throughout that Bible, that confirms that he is the Messiah from start to finish. Multiple men have been renamed. Abraham was renamed. Israel, you know, what used to be named Jacob, and Paul was renamed Saul. And so God renames men. Well, as a result of this, obviously I got the name LEGGO Man, which is, you know, at this point, not only in the conversation, but in my incarceration, was a joke. Well, one of the movies that we have slated after the J6 love story, titled Love on the Run, which we're going to love, and we're going to see a little bit going on here in the American First Warehouse in the future. One of my friends approached me who was working on the Roman epic we have slated afterward, you know, and Romans speak Latin. And so we're trying to dive into the Roman culture, the ancient Romans, and he confronts me and he says, hey, do you know what LEGGO Man in Latin means? And I said, I have no idea. He said, LEGGO Man in Latin means I anoint men or I assemble men.
Ooh, that's deep. That's cool.
I got renamed a name that means I'm going to anoint and assemble men. And what better way to do that than through making films that are unapologetically Christian and unapologetically patriotic, that are gritty, violent, edgy, that show real faith, that summon the citizens of America to stop the death of the West.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome right there. Awesome. So how do you feel about the movie, and you guys have a book too, right? Or you have a book coming out?
Olivia has a pamphlet as of right
Yes,
now. We're
I'm
still working on her book. Yeah,
It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah, another work in progress. I got a book out on Amazon called Still There. And if you wanted to know what being a political prisoner was like without storming the Capitol, you can find that out in 41 short stories of my 3.5 years behind bars. Go on Amazon right now, type in Still There, and you'll see the artwork that Olivia actually painted of me, which is so cool. Thank you, babe.
Oh yeah.
That
Well,
is
it's
cool.
been super cool. Like our whole relationship has been, for one, it was a long distance relationship. I'm in Florida. He was in Pennsylvania at the time. We've since moved to Texas. So it's been kind of a whirlwind of that aspect, but also building a company at the same time and writing a movie script and gathering a team that will be able to accomplish that. And so our relationship was literally over the phone and like long, sometimes through the night conversations and just watching him build it. And it's been super exciting. Like God's just brought people alongside of him that's, you know, see, he didn't grow up making movies, but God's given him the people that know how to do it, and it's just been super cool to see, and it's wild because it is such an important thing. Though I'm, you know, it's odd seeing that actor is going to play me and be on film, but this story has to be told so it doesn't get repeated. And I don't care who you are, if you're a January 6er, don't be scared to tell your story and say what you've seen, because, you know, unlike most of the guys in the January 6 who were arrested, they were put in a pod. I was put in general population, and then some of the guys after they got sentenced, they went into the prison system, and it's so corrupt you wouldn't believe what we've seen. But nobody will know unless we say it. And so that's why this is so important. You know, we've had documentaries, but only our side sees them. Only the right really will go and watch a documentary. We need a movie that other people who are on the fence or just curious, like heard January 6th in the news over and over and over. It was beaten into their heads. They need to see this and know the truth and unbiased, like just watch and see how, you know, two regular people and then all the rest of the people that were involved as well, you know, we're going to weave in so many stories, what it did to just American citizens thrown in jail because, you know, they didn't agree with how we voted, or we didn't, you know, anyways, it's just a mess, but it has to be told. The story must be told. And so I'm excited to be a part of this. And like Robert said earlier, you know, we got out and we're like, now what? Well, this is what, you know, we've got to get the story out. We've got to keep waving that flag at the top of the hill, because people have got to know, you know, so this doesn't repeat.
Yeah, exactly. I always say if you're not expanding, you're contracting, and contracting in this day and age is unacceptable because we don't have time to contract.
No, there's no time.
Well, I think a lot of time was actually taken from us. Could you imagine how better off our country would have been had the Democrats not either one stolen the election or done everything within their power to stop President Trump?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if the Democrats used all their energy, all their wealth to actually fix this country as opposed to doing everything they could to make sure that it actually burned.
Yeah.
You can't be an American and a Democrat. You just can't. You're either one or the other, because as far as I'm concerned, the Democrat Party is hell-bent on making sure that my home doesn't survive my own lifetime, or one or the other. So it's political war, where we were hostages of political war. We were prisoners of political warfare. And mark my words, if all you want to do is sit and do nothing, that is how evil will succeed, and you are therefore not only not good, you're part of the problem. So, and that's why the James Justice Show exists. That's why the America First Warehouse exists. It's not to just entertain, it's also to encourage people to not give up the ship, to get involved, so that one, either Olivia and I don't go back to jail, or they don't come for you, because they came for us first. But if you think that this is going to stop with us, you're dead wrong. If you get involved now, though, we might have a shot to make sure that your kids know what freedom is, and you do too. It's very important that we take this very seriously and recognize that we only have a little bit of time left, not just for the show, but maybe for the American show altogether.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't want our republic to dwindle out like a candle that got splashed with water because of people's, inconsistency to stand up against tyrannical behavior and corrupt government. So
we got to think too. Jesus stood up against a tyrannical government.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you want to say that we shouldn't talk about politics at church or Thanksgiving, Jesus waged political warfare, and they killed him for it.
Yeah.
Read your Bible, man. Yeah. Jesus is one of the most political people on the face of the earth.
He used to go into the public square and preach.
Yeah.
Right in the corner of the public square for everybody to hear, whether they liked it or not.
Exactly.
So we got about a minute 50 seconds left. Let's get into some promotions and where people could support you and fundraising stuff.
Thank you, brother. Well, I will say that if you were to go on to LEGGOMANProductions.com with 2 G's, you can find the projects that we're working on. You can donate. And we're also able to take accredited investors as of right now, too. The movie's got a budget of $20 million, and we've already got some people that are very invested and very excited. And so if you want to support the war effort to make sure that this doesn't happen to you or your kids, you can invest, you can donate, and you can pray. And one of the three or all of them we could use. LEGGOMANProductions.com with 2 G's. You can find us on Instagram, LEGGOMAN Films on Twitter, and then LEGGOMAN Productions on Instagram as well. You can meet the team, see our projects, and then stay up to date. And we have a fundraiser in Texas on the 4th of June in the Fort Worth Stockyards at River Ranch. That's going to be exciting, and many more fundraisers to come. So let's go on the offensive in the culture war, put our money where our mouth is, and make sure that January 6th doesn't repeat itself.
Exactly. And every step that you do along the way, fight, 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 because that's what we need to do right now. We need men to stand up. The women are standing up. All the mama bears across the country.
That's right.
You want to protect your kids. Get into these school board meetings. Get into these city council meetings and let your voices heard. Contact all your congressmen, whoever you have filling in the seats of public office. Make sure you hold their ass to the fire, because the midterms are coming. We can unseat all of these people that aren't doing the job for the American people, and that's what needs to be done. So stay off the TV, stay off Netflix, stop playing your fantasy football games, and tune into the James Justice Show and all the other productions we have here at the America First Warehouse. And with that, that's the closing of episode 10 of the James Justice Show. I love you all. Guys, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Let's go!